Okay, so thinking about soil health, maybe have a wee bit of a look at that. What is soil health? How do you measure it, quantify it? Well, there's a few different things you can try and do. One of the basic ones, favourite one, cheap one, is to just get a jar. Doesn't have to be as flash a jar as this, but it's a decent size. So I'll take a few samples of soil from around the garden, stick them in the jar, fill it with water, shake it up, let it settle for maybe 6 hours or something, and then come back and have a look at it. Okay, so taking a few random soil samples from around the garden, put them in the jar, now we fill it with water. So, fill the jar with water, leave a wee gap at the top, a bit of air for shaking. Give it a really vigorous shake, and then put it somewhere safe to settle for maybe 6 hours or so. We'll come back and have a look at it after that. So, left the jar overnight. It's actually probably sat for in excess of 12 hours now, which is not a bad thing. You can really see the different layers as they separated out there. And so, if you can distinguish, down about here, that's roughly a kind of sandy layer mix. Then we've got a kind of more of a silty layer here, and then there's a really tiny little brighter line just underneath that darker stuff there. That's a kind of clay. So there's not a lot of clay in my soil. And then we've got some organic matter, bit of cloudy liquid, and another layer of organic matter there. Floating stuff, so probably bits of wood. So you want a good lot of organic matter in your soil, and you want a good mix of sort of sand and silty. But sand's good for drainage. So what we'll do is you can mark these off as percentages of the material present, and you can actually plug that into a website that the Americans have helpfully provided, and that'll give you a answer as to what type of soil you have approximately. So we'll give that a go. So according to the graph, I have a silt loam. So that's a mixture really of silt, sand, and a bit of clay, but in a balance and a proportion that is workable, and no one of those three dominates it. So there's a balance. So it's a good growing medium. So it's a good thing to know your soil type, because then you know what you're working with and whether you've got an issue that you might need to address. Easy way to do that, and is beneficial to all soil types, is to consistently add organic matter to them every year. And then you can say what you're really aiming for is a good loam type soil, and that's the one that gardeners find works best as a growing medium. Typically that's what you're aiming for, and that just means having a balance between the three, no one soil type dominating.